let's get to week 6. And I want to do this. I know we'll crescendo to the Sunday night game because Detroit and Kansas City is the real marquee matchup of the weekend. But let's do it in chronological order. Let's start with the Thursday night game tomorrow night between the Giants and Eagles. Jackson Dart's going to start once again. It is his football team now, the Eagles, for all their defending Super Bowl champion status and the 4-1 record. The offense has not looked good. How do you see this game?
The offense doesn't seem to have an identity, Gill. I mean, each week is something a little bit different. It's one thing to game plan to the weaknesses of your opponents and try to attack them. It's another thing to just come out and really throw stuff at the wall and not really have a strategy and a pivot throughout the course of the game. I'm shocked that Saquon still had only 6 rushing attempts last week in a game that they were leading by double digits or large margins through most of the game. When I'm looking at this game, though, I'm looking at the defensive side because that's where Philadelphia could really try to win this game and make life easy for their offense if they want to. Philadelphia's pass defense has gone up against these quarterbacks: Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, and Bo Nix. And you know me, Gill, at this point and throughout these shows, I come on every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. I will throughout the rest of the season. We're going to start talking a lot more about strength of schedule. I know that's something you appreciate as well and take into consideration when you're handicapping these games. That list of quarterbacks is a very daunting list. Now they get to drop down in competition to a much more lowly quarterback. We're talking about Jackson Dart making his first ever start on a short week.
Ooh.
And he's shorthanded at the receiving core. They don't have their number 1, Malik Neighbors. They don't have their number 2, Darius Slayton, who got injured in last week's game. I just think it's going to be a difficult task for him to come out here and try to perform. The question more is on the other side of the football. What are we going to get from this Philadelphia Eagles offense? Are they going to then see that they blew the game by only giving Saquon 6 rushing attempts, so they lean more into the run in this game? Are they going to try to satisfy their diva receivers who are complaining even when they're winning games and throw them more passes down the field because they could have success in doing that against this New York Giants defense? I mean, teams are having success through the air or on the ground against this Giants defense, and so they could go that route as well. It's a tough decision, but it's a short week, and they've got to rinse off that embarrassing loss to the Denver Broncos quickly and get back on track here against this New York Giants team and really try to, force their case early on so that they make life a lot easier in the second half. Because I do not see this Giants passing attack with the lack of weapons that they've got and a young rookie quarterback coming back on them in the second half like they lost last week against the Broncos.
Yeah, Warren, I already took the Giants plus 7.5, but I've already joked about it. I said, can't wait to see how I lose this one at the end, even with the 7.5 points. Let's go to, speaking of the international series, let's go to Sunday morning at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The Jets and the Broncos, with the Broncos touchdown favorites, quote unquote, at the New York Jets, if you will, at London. How are you feeling about the Aaron Glenn administration so far with New York?
Not well. I don't feel well at all about the Aaron Glenn administration. I don't feel strongly about his number 1 quarterback, Justin Fields, either. This is a team that is obviously struggling, and it gets even worse if you separate it out based upon the half of the game that we're talking about. If you look at the first half of games, Justin Fields has a total of 1 touchdown. In the second half of games, he has a total of 6 touchdowns. So we're talking about a quarterback who is playing poorly early on. And it's not just the 1 touchdown. Obviously, that's like the most basic statistic possible. I'll give you some more advanced statistics if you want to get those. In the first half, he's number 37 in accuracy, 26 in EPA, 32 in completion rate, 39 in sack rate. In the second half, he improves. Number 2 in accuracy, number 17 in sack rate, number 11 in completion rate. So he does get a lot better in the second half. Is that just because the defenses are playing more soft because they're down so many points? That's a possibility as well. But this is a game that's going to be really tough for the Denver Broncos. The Jets just played literally the 2 worst defenses in the NFL in the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. I literally have them 32 and 31. Now you're going up against the Denver Broncos, who rank number 3 defensively. Those defenses rank number 31 and 32. The prior 2 teams, the Dolphins and the Cowboys, 31 and 32 in the red zone, 30 and 32 versus the pass, and 29 and 26 versus the pass rush. The Broncos rank top 5 in all of those metrics. And so I absolutely think that the Broncos can get out here early as long as they don't wake up, sleepy with a hangover or something like that. They should be able to slow down this Jets team in the first half. and set themselves up for some success.
Yeah, Jets last winless in the National Football League in this 2025-26 season. The only winless team left. Okay, to the marquee matchup, with apologies to the Bucs and the Niners. It is the Lions and the Chiefs Sunday Night Football. You said you have a whole bunch on this one.
I do. This game is so much fun. And there's a big element, in my opinion, of like some interesting matchups here. So first of all, if we start when the Chiefs have the football, they're going up against this really beaten and battered secondary of the Detroit Lions, which are down multiple players, lost another starter, Terrion Arnold, this past week. So they're really in a dire strait in their secondary. And they're going up against the worst possible passing attack because the Chiefs by nature will attack your secondary. They are the number one most pass-heavy offense in the NFL. They will be throwing early and often and looking to attack that secondary. And I think that they are going to have success in doing so. This is also an offense in the Chiefs, which is passing the ball more frequently and more confidently down the football field, given the fact that their receivers are getting healthier. Xavier Worthy, think about that first game against the Chargers where he basically was out like 56 minutes of the game and wasn't available after that. Tyquan Thornton wasn't being worked into the offense because he didn't have the chemistry yet. This is a team that has a lot more chemistry with their receivers now. They're pushing the ball deeper down the field. They averaged 9.8 air yards per attempt in their last week's game. They've gone over 8.5 air yards per attempt in 3 of their last 4 games. 19% of their passes were thrown 10 plus yards down the field last week, which is a season high for them. So I think that they're going to lean into attacking that secondary of the Detroit Lions. On the other side of the football, interesting matchup here is that the Detroit Lions utilize play action at the number one highest rate and are the most efficient team in utilizing play action. And the Kansas City Chiefs pass defense this year has the biggest splits of any defense in the NFL against play action. They rank number 32 versus play action, and they're top 5 when teams don't utilize play action against them. The Baltimore Ravens, for whatever reason, when they played the Kansas City Chiefs, used only 4 play action dropbacks, and they were dominant. I mean, those 4 were absolutely incredible, but they didn't use it very often, and they were terrible when not utilizing play action. So this Lions team is going to attack the weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. The Kansas City Chiefs also struggled defending runs out of 12 personnel, which we know the Detroit Lions like to utilize. And lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is number 31 against runs from outside zone. And the Detroit Lions run outside zone at the number 5 highest rate in the NFL. So I think we're going to have a little bit of success on the ground for the Lions. We're going to have some success through the air off of play action after they get that ground game going. And it's no wonder that this total was bet up. I mean, it's sitting at 52.5 now. Just 24 hours ago, maybe 36 hours ago, this was like in the upper 49 range is where this total was. So there's been over money that's crossed it through a key number of 51. I'm looking forward to this battle. It's definitely going to be a stark contrast to what we're going to start the day with, Denver versus the New York Jets. I'm looking forward to the nightcap, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a fun game, in my opinion, as long as like weather doesn't interfere, which still too far out to really be confident as to what the weather is going to look like in Kansas City on Sunday night.
Yeah, both Kelly and I were surprised by this line. The fact that the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. So it sounds like you would lean Lions here in terms of a pre-flop bet as well.
I don't really have a strong take on the side. I think both teams are going to have success offensively, though. And so that's where I would be leaning is something with regard to the over in this one.
Okay, over 52.5. Warren, before you go, let me just ask you a random question because we've had the history here on the show where you were on and then you went and you worked for NFL teams. Now you're back with us doing stuff throughout the network. Do you miss working for NFL teams or do you not really miss it at all?
Well, I'm not going to tell you who, but I had some conversations this past week with a general manager giving him some ideas for something that did get integrated into the game plan. So I still have my connections there and I still talk to these guys on occasion, but so much money to be made on the sports betting side of things, both betting and sharing information, that I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now.
All right, I like it. That's an up-to-date, there's an update from Warren, hot off the press. Warren, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Great seeing you.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now, absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.